like tell your story in the way you want to tell it. It's gonna resonate with whatever audience that it's supposed to. You can't be the next somebody. It's like I played ball, so it's like I can't be the next Jordan, but I could be the next Tyler Sabino. So if you're a content creator, you do that.
So in terms of financing, do you think that there will be a trend with creators using smaller budgets and owning their own rights versus using bigger studios and financing?
You can start there.
I'll start by saying the smaller your budget, the more creative you need to be. Period. Like the smaller your budget, you got to get more creative. Solid, what you guys just saw. I'm not going to say the exact number, but it's probably the same price as like 2 dinners here in Cannes. It was a very, very small budget. We shot it in the hood, in the same areas that they shot it. We had to pay neighbors for protection. We had to do all of that, but we got really creative with it. So I think, the less the budget, the more creative. We have to stop using that as an excuse. You shoot it in a way that also could be amplified on social media. Like all of these clips, some of the clips from that short, they went viral on TikTok. That's the only reason why I got that's the only reason why I got in here. So just get more creative with the way in which you shoot and think about your social media strategy while you're shooting the trailers and everything.
He also shot that in one day, he forgot to mention, which was incredible. I have to say, I watched the full. It's absolutely powerful, breathtaking, and it shows that what you can really do with different types of budgets. I do think that obviously a lot of you guys are here in the film industry. We know the budgets. The budgets are big in terms of actors, production, all of that. But by being able to use creativity and also social media to amplify voices has been a great way for people who want to get into the film industry or get that exposure to do it with financing. I mean, marketing and production and advertising is a huge budget in order to get the eyes on these films. And you can do it with social media now, which is free for a lot of people who know how to do it themselves. So I do think it's going to change the platform and the environment on how budgeting works and going more into the intellectual property piece of the actors.
I know, that's it, you go.
Yeah, that was great. Shermin, can you talk a little bit about what you've seen in terms of creators managing their own story?
So it's been really interesting seeing that as well. So obviously, people know a lot about copyright, intellectual property issues, and that's been a huge issue with TikTok and Universal and music as well as film, and people understanding the value of their copyright and also usage rights. So in content creation and the legal side, a lot of people talk about their usage rights, which is a really big tool of leverage. How long can you post my content? How many days? Where is it going to be? Just having ownership of that is a huge part of being able to make money in this billion-dollar industry. I mean, as much as people want to say anything about content creation, it is a big industry. It's great for service-based industries. Everyone is using content to build themselves up and create a personal brand. I do think that with creators, they understand the world of content creation, but when they start going into film, there's different types of licensing and distribution in film, in TV and in the film industry or the movie industry, getting those distribution and clearance rights. So I think it's about educating creators on that, for them to understand that that's really their value, and to make sure from a filmmaker's perspective that they get those intellectual property rights in a contract. Talk to a lawyer. This is not legal advice, by the way. I always start with that. I forgot that part. But for creators to understand that and really scale in the film industry or in the creator industry, that's what they really need to put their value on.
That's great. Tyler, speaking of creators developing and producing their own content, you obviously just saw a clip of Tyler's film. Can you talk more about how you worked with creators and your budget in order to produce that?
Well, I mean, original content, original IP, original everything is the name of the game right now. People are sick of the same stuff that they've been seeing. So with this, it's like tell your story in the way you want to tell it. It's going to resonate with whatever audience that it's supposed to. You can't be the next somebody. It's like I played ball, so it's like I can't be the next Jordan, but I could be the next Tyler Sabino. So if you're a content creator, you do that. And you brought up a great point in saying content creators just want to create. you need a team around you. You need the right team around you to understand the legalities and everything that surrounds that. Music licensing, they're playing whatever music they want, and they're like, damn, why did it get taken down? I had 2 million views because you don't have the right infrastructure. So I think it's giving these creators the right tools to be able to create. Let them create. Give them the right tools to do so.
That's great. I talk about that a lot with Amazon Live, being a free platform for creators to leverage to empower their own stories and really scale their own story. Can you also talk about, obviously a very impactful film, can you talk about how the film industry and just people ourselves can do a better job at empowering minority creators?
I think we're taking steps in the right direction. I mean, this is my 5th year in Cannes, and I see more diversity here than I ever have, so that's lit. And I think, thank you. I think, honestly, it's the tools. I keep saying it. I don't want to sound redundant, but the tools, the access, right? Let's start at a level playing field, right? And watch how we take off. So I would say it's that. The education behind it, right? Like, we tell the best story. You can't tell a good story if you haven't been through shit, period. So I think if you've been through something, you could tell the best stories. So I think, find people that actually really been through stuff.
Yeah.
And let's highlight those stories.
Yeah, I love that.
I agree. I think that a lot of times in the world of film, again, with budgets, like a lot of it has to be very carefully curated. A lot of thought goes behind it. And in content, you really never know what's going to go viral, and creators have the power to tell the story they want, as controversial as it might be, and really share that. It's the exposure. I agree. This is my first time at Cannes. I said it right this time. My gosh. I have been posting. I do a lot of content too. I've been posting and I've been saying it wrong, and the comments I've been getting, I'm like, you know what? It is what it is. I'm not French. Finding directions here was another thing. But yeah, I do think that having the power to be able to tell your own story is just the key, and content is the way to do it. In addition to a law firm, I have a management and production agency, which we're working with Amazon Live on live streaming, as I mentioned, and a lot of our creators are using Amazon Live as a platform to create podcasts, cooking shows, the things that they want to do. And if they didn't have the access to begin with, then they're able to create that themselves. Like, how amazing is it that 20 years ago, if you wanted to be in the film industry or have any type of platform, you'd have to have the right connections, you'd have to know somebody, you'd have to be in rooms like this. You can find somebody now in, I want to say middle America, but we're not even in America anymore, but you can find someone in the middle of anywhere who may not have access, but they have a phone, and they're able to share their story and also put out content that the world can see. That's something incredibly amazing, and it does give people the platform to learn about culture, learn about various things that are going on, and so looking at social media and content as a way to share those stories, and then hopefully people have access to bigger platforms like Amazon Prime and Netflix or HBO, and come to places like this.
And it's free for the most part. That's the good part. It's free, so you could tell your story like. I know you're documenting your whole Cannes trip, right? Cannes trip. So
Cannes.
It's free. Yeah, this is going to be a topic of discussion. Document your journey. Everybody in here has a journey at some capacity. Highlight your journey. It will resonate with somebody.